What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. I wanted to come on today and talk about the latest New York Jets moves, or news rather, not moves, news. Just a couple quick hitters this afternoon, not anything crazy big, but we did hear that Joe Douglas is going back to Philadelphia. No surprise here. Joe Douglas is going to Philly as or in some sort of senior scouting role. If you remember, he was in Philadelphia from 2016 to 2019, serving as the vice president of player personnel. He was hired by the New York Jets in 2019, was the GM from 2019 through 2024. The team went 32-68 over that span. His best season was in 2019 when they went 7-9 with essentially Mike Maccagnan's roster, because he was brought in after the NFL draft and free agency. I'm not saying that Joe Douglas is a worse general manager than Mike Maccagnan. I don't know if that's a fair evaluation. There were some good moments. The 2022 NFL draft is obviously a big one. Some unfortunate big misses in Mekhi Becton and Zach Wilson and the hiring of Robert Saleh. In the end, 32-68, wasn't able to get the New York Jets back to the playoffs. And I think he'll likely do well in this role in Philadelphia. That's a great organization. They just won the Super Bowl. They've had a lot of success. Joe Douglas had success there. And he can go back to essentially learning from or working with the best general manager, or one of the top 2-3 at worst general managers in the NFL, working under Howie Roseman. So not really all that surprising. I don't have any ill will towards him. I wish him the best, but can't say that I'm surprised. He was on the sideline during a playoff game last year, so this seemed pretty likely. We also have some jersey number switches. Will McDonald will no longer be number 99. He will go to number 9, which is the number that he wore in college. Call me old-fashioned, call me old man, yells at cloud and shakes his fist at the sky, but I don't really love the new number, and it's not really new anymore. It's been like this for a few years, where defensive linemen can wear single digits and you have corners in single digits. I know Sauce looks awesome as number 1 and DJ Reed number 4, the whole thing, but this isn't my NFL. Wide receivers wearing number 22 and edge rushers wearing number 9 and linebackers wearing 11. This is, I don't know. We used to be a proper functioning society here, folks, at one point, but Will McDonald drops the double 99. A lot of people were upset about that being Mark Gastineau's number. Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Are the Jets retiring Gastineau's number? I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But Greg Zuerlein was cut, and that's why McDonald's able to switch the number. So I think it has more to do with that than it necessarily has to do with a potential jersey retirement. Malachi Corley will now rock number 6. That's his third number, which, as Dom C points out, that's the same number of catches that he has. He wore 17, 14, and now number 6. Corley in a single digit. Is this enough to get him over the hump? I certainly hope so. What is his role going to be in 2025? I have no idea. I don't know how the staff feels about him in comparison to the last staff, which was bizarre because they loved him in the NFL draft. It was Malachi McCorley, no matter what, on day 2. They trade up for him in the third round of the NFL draft. They draft him, never plays. Just weird. I don't know what role he is this year. And then finally, Xavier Gipson is switching to number 3, which was last worn by Jordan Travis. Number 3 feels like a number given to a wide receiver that is playing in the fourth quarter of the 4th preseason game, and you're going, who the hell is that guy? And then he doesn't end up making the team. Is that foreshadowing that Xavier Gipson won't be on the 2025 New York Jets? Honestly, could be. I would not be surprised if he isn't on this team. He hasn't had a moment since week 1, 2023. It was a great one. The punt return for a touchdown against the Buffalo Bills. Hasn't really been a good returner over the last 2 years outside of that moment, though, and was a non-factor as a pass catcher. I know the Jets have a weak wide receiver room. He's small. He's a slot receiver. I don't know how much leeway he has here. I think Arian Smith, who this regime drafted, likely will get precedent over a guy like Xavier Gipson, who's a UDFA from the previous regime. So there you go. Joe Douglas back to Philly. Some number changes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time.